Om Shri Padmatmane Namaham. Namaste devotees and Jai Sita Ram. I'd like to welcome each and every one of you to our Sunday morning satsang this beautiful January 9th, 2021. If you'll bear with me for just one moment, devotees, I have to make one quick correction just to the audio, and then we'll get started with our virtual Sunday morning service. I do apologize, devotees. I had to fix one quick thing. I was hearing a little bit of feedback on my end. But as we continue on with our service for today, I ask that you join together with me as we sing and chant this very beautiful bhajan, as we prepare our minds and get ready for our prayers for today. स्वागत सब जन इस मंदिर हो, भक्ति की स्वाति की धार, सुंदर सुमधुर गान हमारो, रंजन सब नर नार। ईश सगुण निरगुण विनाशी, मात पिता रुयार। ईश सगुण निरगुण विनाशी, मात पिता रुयार। तोर माए हम वास्ट सदाही, तोर भाई हम वास्ट सदाही, तार हमें संसार। स्वागत सब जन इस मंदिरो, भक्ति की स्वाति की धार, सुंदर सुमधुर गान हमारो, रंजन सब नर नार। तीर्थ मायाम या गोत लगावे, पुण्य या परिसार। तीर्थ माया या गोत लगावे, पुण्य या परिसार। संगति संतन नीम चलावे, संगति संतन नीम चलावे, शोभन सब व्यवहार। स्वागत सब जन इस मंदिर हो, भक्ति की स्वाति की धार, सुंदर सुमधुर गान हमारो, रंजन सब नर नार। रंजन सब नर नार, रंजन सब नर नार। At this time, devotees, as you all join together with me, as you go ahead and clasp your hands and close your eyes. With your eyes closed, take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, relax your spine, relax your shoulders, your neck, and your forehead. While sitting in a very comfortable and relaxed position, devotees, go ahead and focus on a form of Bhagwan that's most pleasing to you, one that helps you focus. And join together with me as we chant our opening prayers. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnata Purnamudachiti, Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyati, Ishavasyam Miram Sarvam Yatkincha Jagatyam Jagat Dina Tekdina Bhunjita Makrutha Kasya Swadhanam Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahe Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahe. Hari Om Shanti, 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 Hari Om. As we continue on with our prayers about this, we offer obedience as we chant the most powerful mantra in this universe. As we join together in chanting the Gayatri Mantra. Om Magakshe Varane Nevi Akshari Brahmo Adini Gayatri Jagat Mathar Vishwayoni Namostute. Om Bhure Bhuvasva Tatsavitur Bharenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. Om Bhure Bhuvasva Tatsavitur Bharenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. Om Bhure Bhuvasva Tatsavitur Bharenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. Hari Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Hari Om Prem se bolo Gayatri Mata ki Jai. As we continue on with our prayers of devotees, we offer prayers to that remover and destroyer of all obstacles in our life and in this universe. We join together as we offer prayers to Lord Ganesh. Om Jananam Bhutanganadhi Sevitam Kapita Jambu Palachara Bhakshanam Ummasutam Shoka Vinashakarikam Namami Viganesh Varapada Pankajam Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirviganam Kurumi Deva Sarvakarishu Sarvada. Om Raksha Raksha Ganadhaksha Raksha Trilokya Rakshakar Bhaktanam Bhayam Karata Trata Bhava Bhavaranavar. Om Shriman Mahaganadhipate Namaham Prem se bolo Ganesh Bhagwan ki Jai. As we continue on with our prayers of devotees, we offer obediences to that mother of knowledge and learning, that mother of clarity of mind and wisdom. We offer prayers to Mother Saraswati. Om Saraswati Mahabhagi Vidye Kamala Lochine Vidyarupe Vishalakshi Vidham Dehi Namostute. Om Saraswati Namastubhyam Varare Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada. Om Mahasaraswati Namam Prem Svara Saraswati Mata ki Jai. We continue to devote these by offering prayers to that universal mother and that destroyer of all evils in our life. We join together as we offer prayers to Adi Shakti Durga Mata. Om Mahadurgai Namaham. Om Jayandi Mangala Kali Bhandra Kali Kapalini Durga Kshama Shiva Dhatri Swaha Swadhana Mostute Jai Tvam Devi Chamunde Jai Putharati Niharadini Jai Sarvakati Devi Kaneratri Namostute Adevi Sarvabhuteshu Vishnu Mayeti Shamdita Namastasye 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 Namo Namaya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Buddhi Rupena Samstita Namastasye 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 Namo Namaya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Lakshmi Rupena Samstita Namastasye 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 Namo Namaya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Shakti Rupena Samstita Namastasye 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 Namo Namaya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Shraddha Rupena Samstita Namastasye 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 Namo Namaya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Shanti Rupena Samstita Namastasye 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 namo namah ya Devi sarvabhuteshu Tushni-rupena samsthita Namastasye 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 namo namah ya Devi sarvabhuteshu Nyaya-rupena samsthita Namastasye 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 namo namah. As we pray to Mother Durga, we say, O Durga Mata, thou art the supporter of all, and we, your children, worship you in many forms. O Ma, we see you as Buddhi, wisdom, Lakshmi, prosperity, Shakti, energy, Shraddha, faith, Shanti, peace, Tushti, contentment, and Daya, compassion. And as we pray to you, O Ma, Namastasye, 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 Namo Namaha. As we pray to you, O Ma, we bow to thee again and again. Devotees, we now offer prayers to Mother Durga in the form of the Universal Mother, Matri Rupe. Devi sarvam bhuteshu matri rupena samsthita Namastasye 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 namo namah. Dehi saubhagyam arogyam Dehi me paramam sukham Rupam dehi jayam dehi Yesho dehi dvasho jahi. Durgaye namah. Prem Shiva Shakti Durga Mata ki jai. Continuing on with our prayers, devotees, we offer obediences to the most influential beings in our life, those beings that dictate when we can perform specific duties in our life, those beings that dictate even our name and our temperament. We offer prayers to the Navgraha Devata, also referred to as the 9 planets. Brahma Murari Sripurata Ari Bhanu Shashi Bhume Suto Budhascha Bhuruscha Shukraha Shanirahu Keto Sarvengraha Shanti Param Bhavantu Sarvengraha Shanti Karam Bhavantu. As we continue on with our prayers to the Navgraha Devata, we offer obediences to that being that exists in the form of the sun and the sustainer of all life on this planet. We offer prayers to Surya Narayan Bhagwan. Om Suryaya Namaha 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 Adideva Namastubhyam Prasiddham Mama Bhashkaram Divakara Namastubhyam Prabhakara Namostute Suryaya Namaha Suryaya Namaha Suryaya Namaha Suryaya Namaha. Om Prem se bolo Navgraha Devata ki jai. Prem se bolo Surya Narayan Bhagavan ki jai. Continuing on further with our prayers of devotees, we now offer obediences to that sustainer of all things, to make all things righteous in this universe. We offer prayers to the Lord Vishnu. Om Shri Vishnu Namaha. Om Shantakaram Bhujagashyanam Padmanabham Suresham Vishwadharam Gagana Sadrisham Meghavaram Shubhagam Om Lakshmi Kantam Kamalinayanam Yogim Hiradhyanagamyam Vande Vishnu Bhavamhaya Haram Sarvaloke Kanatam Om Sashankha Chakram Yasakirita Kundhalam Sapita Mustram Sarasirulekshanam Sahara Vakshastala Shobikostu Bhashriyam Namami Vishnu Shirasa Chaturabhujam Namami Vishnu Shirasa Chaturabhujam. Prem se bolo Vishnu Bhagwan ki jai. And finally, devotees, we offer prayers Now to that universal Father and that universal Guru, to that destroyer of all evils in our life and in this universe, we join together as we offer praise to Lord Shiva. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Harapurang Gaurang Karunavataram Samsara Saram Bhujagendraharam Saravasantam Hirdayardavane Bhavam Bhavani Sahitam Namami Bhavam Bhavani Sahitam Namami. Om Namah Shivaya. Brahmamurari Surarchitalingam Niramalabhasita Shobhitalingam Janama Jadukha Vinashakalingam Tat Pranamami Sada Shivalingam Tat Pranamami Sada Shivalingam Devamuni Praravarchitalingam Kamadaham Karunakaralingam Ravana Dharpa Vinashanalingam Tata Pranamami Sada Shivalingam Tata Pranamami Sada Shivalingam Sarvasubhandi Sulepitalingam Bodhi Vivaranhana Paranalingam Sinhasura Suravannitalingam Tata Pranamami Sada Shivalingam Tata Pranamami Sada Shivalingam Kanakamahamuni Bhushitalingam Hanipati Veshtita Shobhitalingam Dhakshasu Yajna Vinashanalingam Tat Pranamami Sada Shivalingam Tat Pranamami Sada Shivalingam Kumkumachan Nalepmitalingam Pankajahara Sushobhitalingam Sanchita Papa Vinashanalingam Tat Pranamami Sada Shivalingam Tat Pranamami Sada Shivalingam Devanganarachita Sevitalingam Bhaivarha Bhakti Bhire Vachalingam Dinakara Koti Prabhakaralingam Pranamami Sada Shivalingam Tat Pranamami Sada Shivalingam Ashtaralom Pariveshtitalingam Sarvasamodha Bhavapaharanalingam Ashnadharindra Vinashitalingam Tat Pranamami Sada Shivalingam Tat Pranamami Sada Suraguru Surara Pujitalingam Suravana Pushpa Sadarchitalingam Parat Param Paramatmakalingam Tat Pranamami Sada Shivalingam Tat Pranamami Sada Shivalingam Tat Pranamami Sada Shivalingam. Om Lingashtakam Midam Punyam Yahapate Shiva Sannidhao शिवलोकमवाप्नोति शिवेन सह मूढते ॐ नमः शिवाय. Devotees, we offer this next prayer for all those suffering from various illnesses, diseases, injuries, and ailments. We ask that they may have a fast, speedy, and full recovery. We also offer prayer for those transitioning from this world to the next. We ask that their passage may be a smooth and tranquil Trayambakam yajamehe Sugandhin pushtivarnhanam Urvarukamiv bandhanatam Mrityurmukshyo mamrutat Om Trayambakam yajamehe Sugandhin pushtivarnhanam Urvarukamiv bandhanatam Mrityurmukshyo mamrutat Om Trayambakam yajamehe Sugandhim pushtivarnhanam Urvarukamiv bandhanatam mrityurmukshiyamamrutat Om Gangarapate Namaha Om Kartikeya Namaha Om Nandishwaraya Namaha Om Vasukiya Namaha Om Shri Samba Sada Shivaya Namaha Prem se bolo Shiva Shankar Bhagwan ki Jai. Devotees, once again, I'd like to thank Uncle Walter and Auntie Sarani for recording a bhajan and sending it in for us to listen to live during a virtual Sunday morning service. Devotees, for anybody else who may have anything that you'd like to record and send in, you are more than welcome to do so. But before we commence with our sermon, we'll pan over to listen to that very beautiful bhajan, and then we'll continue back on with our virtual Sunday morning service.
छोड़ झमेला झूठे जग का कहाँ गई दास कबीर पाड़ लगाएंगे एक पल में तुलसी के रघुबीर छोड़ झमेला झूठे जग का कहाँ गई दास कबीर पार लगाएंगे एक पल में तुलसी के रघुबीर छोड़ झमेला झूठे जग का भूल भुलैया जीवन तेरा साचो नाम प्रभु को भूल भुलैया जीवन तेरा साचो नाम प्रभु को मन में बसा ले आज तू बंदे लेकर नाम प्रभु को लेकर नाम प्रभु को सूरदास की शाम हरेंगे सूरदास की शाम हरेंगे जन्म जन्म का पीर छोड़ झमेला झूठे जग का कह गई दास कबीर पार लगाएंगे एक पल में तुलसी के रघुबीर तेरा मेरा दिन भर करता पर तेरा कछु नाही तेरा मेरा दिन भर करता पर तेरा कछु नाही माती काए खेल है सारा मिलेगा माती माही मीरा जी के गीत बुलाए मीरा जी के गीत बुलाए सबको जमुना तीर छोड़ झमेला झूठे जग का कह गई दास कबीर पार लगाएंगे एक पल में तुलसी के रघुबीर छोड़ झमेला झूठे जग का।
Once again, I would like to thank Uncle Walter and Auntie Sarani for recording that very beautiful bhajan and sending it in for us to listen to live during our Sunday morning satsang. As I had mentioned here just a second ago, devotees, for anybody else who has something that they would like to record and send in, whether it be a speech, a bhajan, I don't know, some video of you doing a prayer, maybe something of words of wisdom or readings from the scriptures, you're more than welcome to record that and send it in for us to play here live during our virtual Sunday morning satsang. All you have to do is record it with your phone, email it to shivshaktimandirga@gmail.com. Again, that's shivshaktimandirga@gmail.com. The email address is right here at the very bottom of the screen. And we will edit it and put it up onto our virtual Sunday morning service. But again, to Uncle Walter and Auntie Sarani, thank you again for your continued support and for being diligent and so diligent in sending in these very beautiful bhajans for us to listen to week in, week again. Devotees, before we commence with our sermon, for those of us who have our Guru, I ask that we join together as we offer a prayer to our Guru. If not, then I ask that you take Lord Shiva, any other deva in your mind, to focus on as your universal Guru, as we join together and pray. Om Guru da Brahma, Guru da Vishnu, Guru da Deva Maheshwara, Guru da Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaham. Om Dhyana Moolam Guru da Murti Puja Moolam Guru Param Mantra Moolam Guru Vakyam Moksha Moolam Guru Kripana Prem Sabro Guru Dev Ki Jai. Srimad Bhagavatam Puran Bhagavatam Puran Srimad Bhagavatam Puran Bhagavatam Shri Bhagavatam Srimad Bhagavatam Puran Bhagavatam Shri Bhagavatam Srimad Bhagavatam Puran Bhagavatam Puran Srimad Bhagavatam Puran Bhagavatam Puran Srimad Bhagavatam Puran Bhagavatam Shri Bhagavatam Srimad Bhagavatam Puran Bhagavatam Shri Bhagavatam Srimad Bhagavatam Puran Bhagavatam Puran Srimad Bhagavatam Puran Bhagavatam Puran Srimad Bhagavatam Puran. Devotees, last week when we were reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, we had just completed chapter 4 of book 1, in which we talked about the appearance of Sri Narada. Now, in that entire chapter, I went back and listened to how I explained it last week, and there was something that I failed to fully explain. In that chapter, we started off with Vyasadeva and understanding what Vyasadeva did. But we really didn't hear about Sri Narada the entire time we were doing that chapter. We heard about what Vyasadeva did. We heard that he was a great sage who decided to take the Vedas and break the Vedas into smaller, bite-sized pieces, or smaller texts for us to understand. He wrote the Mahabharata. He interpreted what that war meant to all of us and how we could understand it a little bit better. But at no point in time did we really hear a lot about Sri Narada, even though the title of chapter 4 is the appearance of Sri Narada. Remember that Narada is an incarnation or form of Lord Vishnu. And at the end of this, as he's sitting in seclusion, Vyasadeva, being purified, residing at the bank of the Saraswati, because remember, this is where he started everything, his entire journey at the Saraswati River. He thought about it, and knowing Dharma, therefore from the dissatisfaction of his heart, said to himself, because he was dissatisfied. He did all of this great work, but he was dissatisfied. And why was that? Strictly adhering to my vows, I sincerely was of proper worship, and also respected the spiritual masters in my performance of the sacrifices according to the traditional Vedic instructions, even for all people, by compiling the Mahabharata, have properly explained what according to the disciple succession should be stated about the path of religion. So I did all this work. I did everything I needed to make all of these scriptural readings attainable to the common person. But despite all of that, so it seems, having been complete in relation to the glory of the absolute truth in my discussion of the Supreme as being situated in the body, and even having discussed my own self, I feel something is missing. I've done all of this work. I've done everything, but something is still missing. I might not have given sufficient directions about devotional service so dear to the perfect souls and the infallible one. So now he's questioning himself. He's feeling dissatisfied. And why is he feeling dissatisfied? Well, he's looking back at his work now and he's saying, did I miss something? Did I do something wrong? Did I just not give everybody everything that they needed? What am I missing here? While Vyasadeva was thinking about all of this, regretfully, Narad reached his cottage. Narad was on a pilgrimage. He did reach the cottage of Vyasadeva. Seeing the great fortune in one, Vyasadeva quickly got up to honor him with the same respect the godly souls offered to Lord Brahma, the creator. So, now this great sage is appearing at this great Rishi's door. Sri Narad is appearing at Vyasadeva's door. It seems kind of eloquent in terms of timing if you think about it. He's completed all of this work. He's written all of the Vedas. He's written the Mahabharata. He's written so many other things for us to understand. Yet he's not feeling satisfied with the work that he's done, even though he feels it's the proper religious work that needed to be done. And in his time of need, Narad appears. Remember, this is a story that Sutta Goswami is telling all of the rishis. At this point, Sutta said to the rishis, then comfortably seated next to him, the rishi of the god of great renown who has a veena in his hands, with a faint smile addressed the learned. He said, O great fortunate son of Parasara, it is so that you find the satisfaction of your soul by identifying yourself with your body and mind. You have done your full inquiries, and being well versed, you have prepared the great and wonderful Mahabharata, to which you have added your extensive explanations. But despite your investigations and the knowledge you have acquired about the absolute and eternal, you, dear master, lament not having done enough for the purpose of the soul. So he knows. He's written all these great texts. Shri Narad understands this. He's seen this. He's seen the good that Vyasadeva has spread. But he also knows that he's lamenting because he feels like he hasn't done enough. He knows that Vyasadeva thinks that he has not done enough. So Vyasadeva looks at Narad and he says, all you have said is certainly true. My heart is still not satisfied with it. What is the root I have missed? I ask you, who originated from the self-born Brahma, as a man of unlimited knowledge, as a devotee of the oldest person, the lord of the material and spiritual world, who from his mind only, elevated above the qualities of material nature, creates and destroys the universe. You have all-inclusive, confidential knowledge. Just as the sun, you travel the three worlds and thereby penetrate everyone's heart as a self-realized witness, like being the all-pervading ether. Can you please search out what the deficiency is in my, with discipline and vow, being absorbed in the absolute concerning matters of cause and effect, spirit and manner? So it's a very fancy way of Vyasadeva saying, what have I missed? You really are the expert here. You know everything. There's a lot of information that you know. There's a lot of things that you understand. You know the truths of the world. I've sitting here and I've written these great and absolutely wonderful scriptural teachings for everybody. I've put my own learnings into them so people can understand exactly what lines mean. But what am I missing? You know what I'm missing. Oh, Shri Narad, please tell me what I'm missing. And we've all been there from time to time, devotees. We've all been there from time to time. And as I read through these next verses, I want you to just take in everything that's going on here. Vyasadeva decided to create all of these religious works and scriptures and share them with the common people to make sure that everybody could read them, have access to them, learn from them, understand them. He worked very hard his entire life, yet he felt like something was missing. We all have that moment in our lives. We work so hard on something, but we still feel empty inside. We still feel like something's missing, but we can't put our finger on it. Sometimes we think, oh, you know what? I need a partner in life. I need to fill that hole in my heart with love or with somebody. I need to go get a pet or something. Oh, I bought a house, but what's next? I need to make the house nice and beautiful. We keep reaching and reaching and reaching and reaching, but yet we don't attain what we need to attain because we truly don't know what it is we need to attain because something's always missing. So he says, "Oh, Shri Narad, what is missing?" And Narad looks at Vyasadeva and smiles, and he says, "You hardly praise the glories of the Fortunate One, who is spotless and who I gather is not really pleased by that lesser vision. Although you, great sage, repeatedly have written for the sake of the four virtues of religion, Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha, or righteousness, economy, sense gratification, and liberation, you have not been doing so for the sake of Vasudeva, for the sake of God, hardly using the flowery language that describes the glories of the Lord, who sanctifies the universe, as something he saintly souls think of as an engagement for crows, not as something desirable, appreciated by swans, those perfect in transcendence. That creation of words, revolutionizing the sins of the people, in which, although imperfectly composed, each verse depicts the names and the glories of the unlimited Lord, is heard, sung, and accepted by those who are purified and honest, despite self-realization free from material motives. Transcendental knowledge of sufficient purity does not look good without any love for the infallible one. What good will it bring to work time and again, troublesome for a result, when one fails to serve the Lord with it? That is inauspicious, and it leads nowhere. You, therefore, as a highly fortunate one, spotless and famous, perfect seer, dedicated to the truth and fixed in vows, should, from your transcendental position for the sake of liberation from the universal bondage, think about and describe him whose actions are supernatural. Whatever perspective one describes separates him, misses its purpose, and will only lead to names and forms that agitate the mind, like a boat that is taken by the wind from its place. Instructions for the sake of religion are disliked. They are most unreasonable in relation to the natural inclinations. By what you have instructed about Dharma, one became fixed on other matters, not giving thought to that which you like to prevent. Again, very fancy way of speaking here, because that's a lot what the Srimad Bhagavad Puran is like. But what Narad is saying is that you did all of this work with the wrong goal in mind. With the wrong purpose. Actually, I shouldn't say wrong goal. You did everything and you achieved a goal with the wrong purpose. With the wrong purpose. What was your purpose of writing these scriptures, essentially, what Narad is asking? Your purpose wasn't to spread the word of God, necessarily. And even though you claim, O Vyasadeva, that you were spreading the word and creating these texts for the common people to understand, you were doing it to please your own senses. You were doing it to satisfy yourself. And that's a very hard chunk to think. We have a great Rishi here who's very learned. He does so many great things in this world, who's done so many great things, but he's done it for the wrong reason. He hasn't done it for the betterment of people necessarily. He's done it for himself, to satisfy and gratify his senses, and not necessarily all the work in the name of the Lord. Remember the Srimad Bhagavad Gita. What Bhagwan Shri Krishna says. He says that when you're performing work, you should perform work in my name. Do your work for me. And if you can't do the work for me, do the work because of me. So he did all this work with an intended, what he thought was a true purpose, but he actually missed the mark on what the purpose was. He didn't have true purpose behind his goals. And we all, again, I say we all run through this time and time again, in which we all decide that we're going to do something, yet by the end of it, we're not satisfied by the result. Best example I can give you is you decide that you want to surprise your spouse and you want to paint the entire house a new color. This is not a personal example. I'm making this up. I promise you I'm making this up. Our house has stayed gray since the day we moved in. But you want to paint the entire house for your spouse and surprise them. But you don't talk to your spouse about the color, whether or not they want all the rooms to be the same or slightly different, whether or not you want the crown molding to be darker than the walls or lighter than the walls. You just decide, I'm going to do good for somebody. I'm not going to talk to them about it, but I'm just going to go ahead and do it. So your purpose, what you believe, is that you're doing good for someone, and that everything that you are going to be doing is good for them and that they're going to love it. But then you paint the entire house, your spouse comes home and they hate it. They hate the color that you chose. They hate the fact that the crown molding is a different shade than the wall. They hate the fact that, the upper crown molding looks different than the lower crown molding. that all of the bedrooms are the same exact color instead of being different colors, that the hallway is the same color as the bathroom, and that's all they can think about. So what happened there is that you intended to do good, or so you thought. But at the end of it all, you have to ask, who was I really trying to please in this scenario? Was I trying to please my spouse? Or was I trying to make my spouse happy so that I could get a good word from it? So that I could get that beneficial praise from it? So whenever you're doing a work, whenever you're approaching something new, whenever you're going to take on a new task, devotees, it's always important to write down what I'm going to do. You're going to write down the goal. What is the goal for doing this? I'm going to do something. What is the goal for doing it? And then the last line that you need to write down is, what is my purpose for doing this? What is my purpose for doing this? Is my purpose to make me feel happy? Or is my purpose to do this is because it needs to get done? Is my purpose to do this so I don't get fined by my HOA? Or is my purpose to do this because I want praise, I want glory, I want people to recognize how often I go to Mundir, how often I read from the scriptures, how often I do puja? That's not the purpose of religion. Religion isn't how well we do something and then getting to gloat about it. Religion is about living a life by the scriptures, doing our work in the name of Bhagwan, and releasing ourselves from the attachment of all results from those actions. We hear this all the time in the Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Vyasadeva did all of this work, and at the end he was dissatisfied because his purpose was skewed. He focused too much on his senses and less on the word of God and doing the work just for the sake of doing the work for Bhagwan. Going further into verse 16 of chapter 5, book 1 of the Srimad Bhagavad Puran. By the way, the name of this chapter is Narada's instructions on the Srimad Bhagavatam for Vyasadeva. Because remember, Vyasadeva was the one who also wrote out the Bhagavatam for us to understand. They who have retired from material happiness, behave wisely with him, deserve to understand the unlimited, transcendental, all-powerful Lord. Therefore, please, your goodness, show to those who, being caught in the clutches of the natural qualities, are estranged from the true self, the activities of the Almighty One. Someone who has forsaken his occupational duties in order to serve the Lord's lotus feet may fall down in that position because of a lack of experience. But what inauspicious would happen to someone who, as a non-devotee, is engaged in his occupational service and obtains nothing of his interest? The philosophy inclined should, for that reason, endeavor only for this spiritual fulfillment. That is not so much found by searching from high to low for material fulfillment, countered by miseries, is in the course of the time that operates so subtly, found anyhow as a result of one action. You can't find happiness by searching for it to satisfy your to satisfy and gratify your senses, is what he's saying here. You can't look up, down, all over the place. You can't do everything you need to have material fulfillment. Fulfillment becomes and is achieved by doing good for the world without worrying about how it affects us. Sooner or later, inevitably failing some way, the devotee has a different experience than others. Once he in his material life acquires the taste, he remembers the feet of the Lord of liberation that he embraced, will never want to give it up. From the goodness of yourself, you know that all of this cosmos is the Lord himself, even though he differs from it. He constitutes the beginning, the existence, and the end of creation. I am only summarizing this for you. You do work for God, and the moment you do something truly good in this world, where you realize that the outcome is neither a sin nor a benefit to you, devotees, where you don't truly focus on the outcome and how it affects you, but just let it happen. Once you get a taste of that real sense of duty, diligence, sacrifice, charity, you want to keep doing it over and over and over again. Not necessarily because it makes you feel good, but you know it's what's right for the world. We become very calm and we attain peace inside of ourselves when we recognize that we've created balance. It's not about making ourselves happy. Although happiness is something that we need to attain. We are human after all. We still need some emotions. But doing work should be done because it's your duty. It's the duty that you were brought into this world for. Attaining moksha can only be done by doing your work through the words of Bhagwan. Teenagers will do this all the time. Boys especially. Boys want to get a girlfriend. They want to ask her to prom. They want to take her out to the date or homecoming or whatever. And they'll go above and beyond. They'll make these big signs. They'll get flowers and chocolates. I don't know, society is changing. I know that girls will start doing this to boys too. But we tend to go above and beyond our duties because we're trying to attain something. And when we don't attain that thing, what does it cause us? It causes us misery. It causes us sadness. I'll end here in verse 21, in which Narad says to Vyasadeva, please give a true-to-life description of the pastimes of him who is the greatest mercy. From the perfect vision of your own soul, you are capable of searching out the transcendental personality of the supersoul, for whom you are a plenary portion, and for whom you, of an unborn nature, have taken birth for the sake of the well-being of the entire world. The reason I ended on that one is because I wanted to end on a positive note. You have been born for the sake of the well-being of the entire world. When was the last time anybody looked you square in the eye and said you were born for the well-being of the entire world? A lot of the times you'll hear in movies, you were born and you're just a dust, a speck, a little tiny microscopic atom in the grand scheme of existence. And that's not true. That's not true. You were born for the sake of the well-being of the entire world. You have a purpose. You have a duty that you can fulfill. Do not think that your life is worthless. Do not think that you are missing something in your heart, in your soul, in your life. Where you are right now is where you need to be. What you have achieved right now is what you need to achieve. What you have performed and what you've accomplished today is what you have performed and needed to accomplish today. You'll do more tomorrow, in the next 5 minutes, in the next 5 seconds, until the end of your life. That is true. But don't dwell too much on the past. Don't let those actions from the past define who you're going to be in the future. When you set a goal for yourself, devotees, write out what that goal is. Make sure you understand that goal. Tell yourself how you're going to achieve that goal. But remember to put the purpose of why you're achieving that goal. Why are you trying to lose weight? Why are you trying to go to the gym more often? Why are you trying to go on a diet? Why do you want to paint the house? Why do you want to mow the lawn? Why do you want to go to the Mundir and clean up? Why do you want to go to temple and pray? Remember the purpose behind everything you do. And remember that no matter what you do, however you do it, whatever you partake in, you were born for the well-being of the entire world. Prem se Bolo Krishna Chandra Bhagwan ki Jai. Prem se Bolo Vishnu Bhagwan ki Jai. At this time, devotees, I ask that you all join together with me now as you go ahead and clasp your hands and close your eyes. With your eyes closed, I want you to take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, relax your spine, your shoulders, your neck, relax your forehead. With your body relaxed and your mind concentrated, I want you to focus on a form of Bhagwan that's most pleasing to you and one that helps you focus, and join together with me as we chant our closing prayers. Om Sarvesham Swasthi Bhavatu Sarvesham Shanti Bhavatu Sarvesham Purunam Bhavatu Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu Om Sarve Sukino Bhavantu Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschita Dukha Bhag Bhavet Om Mantrahinam Kriyahinam Bhaktihinam Janardanam Yatya Pujatam Maya Deva Paripurnam Tarastu Me Papuham Papu Karma Papu Atma Papu Sambhava Trahimam Pundari Kaksham Sarva Papu Haru Hari Om Tvameva Madhascha Pita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhuscha Sakha Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravinam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Om Asato Ma Sadhamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityoma Mritam Yamaya. Hari Om Shanti 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 Hari Om. Om Gurura Brahma Gurura Vishnu Gurura Deva Maheshwara Gurura Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Om Dhyav Shanti Antariksham Om Shanti Prithvi Shanti Rapa Shanti Oshadheya Shanti Vanaspati Shanti Vishwadeva Shanti Brahma Shanti Sarvegam Shanti Shanti Reva Shanti Sama Shanti Redhi Hari Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tatsat. Prem se bolo Ganesh Bhagwan ki Jai. Prem se bolo Saraswati Mata ki Jai. Prem se bolo Adi Shakti Durga Mata ki Jai. Prem se bolo Vishnu Bhagwan ki Jai. Prem se bolo Shiva Shankar Bhagwan ki Jai. Prem se bolo Navgraha Devata ki Jai. Prem se bolo Sanatana Dharma ki Jai. Devotees, with this, we have come to the end of our Sunday morning satsang, and I'd like to thank each and every one of you for being here with us today as we continue to go through our virtual Sunday morning services. I 100% do truly wish, devotees, that we could all be together, and so I could stop looking at the camera and bright lights shining in my face, but rather see nice, bright, shining, smiling faces. But for now, we will be holding off until we know COVID and the COVID numbers are going down. Currently, as the days go on, devotees, we are reaching new record highs for positive cases and hospitalizations due to the Omicron variant of coronavirus or COVID-19. So with that being said, we will not be opening Mundir up for a little while until we can see and again monitor and track and trend how this virus is affecting the population. And again, just to give you a good understanding, 30,000 new cases a day across the United States. That's a lot. About 30 to 40% of all people who are getting tested are testing positive for COVID. What we are predicting is that we're going to have the peak of our surge, at least within some of our hospitals, possibly by the mid to 20th of this month, and then we'll start seeing the numbers go down. But with it feeling and being so dangerous at the moment, in good faith, we cannot open up the temple to potentially spread a virus that we know can still affect people who have immunizations or inoculations. So we will be keeping the Mundir closed and continuing all the virtual services. But I do want to thank you for all supporting and continuously watching and tuning in. For those of you who are chatting, such as Auntie Zandra and Uncle Rajan, to my Indira Didi, Tim Dabbit, and the two kids, and to my Anita Didi, and to her daughter Sita, we want to thank you all for continuously tuning in and supporting and chatting here as well. I do have another announcement for you all, in which I slightly messed it up, and I do apologize. I had a miscommunication with my dad, and this is in regards to the calendars for 2022. We have the calendars for 2022 printed. They are bundled and ready. However, they are still sitting at the manufacturer facility, and we don't have them in our hands in Georgia yet. So when my dad said he has the calendars, he didn't mean he physically had the calendars. He means he had ordered the calendars, but we don't have them yet. So we are still waiting to get the calendars shipped down here to Georgia, and once they are shipped down here to Georgia, we will send them over to the Mundir. We'll place them in a locked bin like we did last time. When I say locked, I just mean a Tupperware bin that you can go to the Mundir, open it up, grab one, and head on your way. But I apologize for the confusion and miscommunication. We do not yet physically have the 2022 calendars. They are ready. They have been printed. We just are waiting for them to get shipped down here to Georgia. So once we do have them in our possession, and once we get them to the Mundir devotees, we will let you all know via our Sunday morning services. Beyond that, I did create my own little calendar for 2022, which it's really just kind of our religious calendar. So I'll go ahead and give you some dates so that way you all have these things in your mind and on your hands. First and foremost, for the month of January, there's only one event that's going on, and that is going to be this coming Friday, January 14th, and that event is known as Makar Sankranti. For a lot of you who don't know what Makar Sankranti is, it's not necessarily something we do a special event on, but it's more for agricultural reasons. It is the movement of Surya Narayan Bhagwan from the southern back to the northern hemisphere, meaning that the days are going to start getting longer. It's a very pivotal time because it really marks the time period where, we start doing new agricultural ventures. We can start getting our crops ready, but it really starts to mark the slow end of the winter season. So, and that occurs on the same dates every year. It's either January 14th or January 15th, one of those 2 days. But again, on this year, it is January 14th. Come February, we'd have 2 events that will be happening. One event will not be done in person at all, but that is known as Saraswati Jayanti. It's also Basant Panchami, or the planting of Holika, and that'll be on Saturday, February the 5th. Again, that is Saturday, February the 5th. For that, I will be planting Holika here at my home, and then we will use that plant to burn Holika when the time of Holi begins, which will be sometime in March. And the only other event we have coming up in the near future is going to be on Monday, February 28th. Again, that is the last day of Monday, so last day of February. Monday, February 28th, that is Mahashivratri. We don't know just yet where the time and the location of that puja is going to be. We know it's on a Monday. I just don't know what time for you devotees, and I don't know where the location is going to be at. If we're going to be doing it virtually solely, or if we're going to be doing it in person and virtually at the same time. And because I don't know of the location, I can't give you a time yet. If we are doing it solely virtually, it'll be a little bit earlier, but if we're doing it in person and virtually at the same time, it'll be a tiny bit later. And I'm talking about the difference between an hour to maybe just 30 minutes, just because of logistics, setting up, getting things ready, work schedules, traffic, etc., etc., etc. So just know that on Monday, February 28th, we as a temple will be celebrating our Mahashivratri Puja. And again, Monday, February 28th. That is all the religious announcements I have. In regards to birthdays, we do have one birthday to celebrate, and that was on the 3rd of this month. So to my Hemo Pupa, Hemo Prasad, living all the way over in Texas, we want to wish you a very, very happy birthday today. Not today, but on the 3rd. We hope you had a very wonderful day, blessed with a lot of hugs from the grandkids, joy and celebration for you and everybody else. Before we end for our virtual Sunday morning service, devotees, I do want to have one final announcement. I do have one final announcement and one last thing to mention to you all, and that is that I'm very pleased and happy to announce that we will be getting a new Mundir member come May of 2022. Serena and I are expecting our first child come this year. We've been sitting on our hands for a long time, holding the secret. We've been itching to tell people. I was really hoping that I could tell you all in person. Unfortunately, that looks like it's not happening for a little while, but I wanted to share that good and happy and joyous news. So we are extremely busy trying to prepare, getting everything ready, trying to finish our registry, get the house ready, get the baby's room ready. But come May of this year, we will be having a brand new little Mundir member in our hands. And as we have more announcements and updates, we'll let you know. The baby is absolutely healthy. Serena's absolutely healthy. Got all of our doctor's visits done, all of the blood work done. So absolutely nothing wrong with the baby or mommy or daddy. But more to come as we approach closer to May of this year. But I did want to share that very exciting news from my family to all of you, just to let you know exactly what's going on in our household. But with that being said, devotees, I want to make sure I end on a very happy and high note. So with that being said, thank you all again for tuning in, for your continued dedication and support as we continue our Sunday morning services. I hope you all have a safe, happy, wonderful, and healthy week, and we'll see you again next Sunday for our regular Sunday morning satsang. Jai Sita Ram, everybody.
छोड़ झमेला झूठे जग का कहाँ गई दास कबीर पाड़ लगाएंगे एक पल में तुलसी के रघुबीर